I will post the replay in the academy. If any of you are not in the academy, just send me a message that you want the replay, because I have opened this up to people inside our Book Boss Academy and to people outside the academy. You actually don't need to be a member to do this. There will be lots of benefits to actually being a member, and I know nearly all of us here are already in the academy. But like I say, you don't have to be. So welcome everybody. I'm talking today all about the Book Boss Book Publishing Buddy Scheme, if I got that right. It's a bit of a tongue twister. You don't have to remember it. But what it means is you only have to do half the work. Now, that sounds good, doesn't it? When it comes to publishing our books. The bit that we mostly enjoy is actually creating the book itself. And what I'm finding is the bit that most people don't enjoy is the faffing around with keywords and phrases and doing all of that research, which does take hours to make sure that it is sellable and that people are going to be searching for your books. The book covers, I have noticed since I opened up the academy that people are really struggling to create book covers, and I did not anticipate that when I opened up the Book Boss Academy because I've been using Canva and doing graphic design now for 12 years, so I just assume everyone else is the same as me. Silly me, no, they're not. They've not got 12 years of constant daily experience like I have. So I was finding that people were creating amazing books but publishing them not with the right keywords, not with the right phrases, not the best book description that's going to really be magnetic and persuasive to sell the book, and most of all, with really poor quality book covers. And so the result is, unfortunately, no sales is the most common result, no sales at all because people can't find your book, they're not searching for your book. And then when they find your book, there's other books with better book covers, so they're not going to choose yours. So I came up with the Book Boss, Book Buddy, accountability, not accountability, book publishing, book buddies, whatever I said at the beginning. I wrote it down here, where you create the book interior and we do the publishing for you. So I do your book cover for you. You obviously need to like it. I will be sending it to you to see if you want to do any changes. I might do two, and you can choose the one you like best. We do all the keyword research. I've got lots and lots of tools for that I pay for. So I don't just use Kip Scout. I also use something called Dibbly. I use Bookbeam. So I've got quite a few paid tools and got quite a bit coming out each month to help me to publish books in the most lucrative way, let's say. Yeah. So we do that part. We also add pages to the front and the back of your book that will entice people to join the Book Boss Academy. Now, why would you want that on your book? And the reason is if you are a member of the Academy, you will get half the monthly recurring royalties from that automatically into your bank every month. And obviously, I am doing this to promote our Book Boss brand. How does that benefit you? Well, you get more money. So that's one, that's always a good thing. But two, you still can put your name on the book. So you can still show who you are, show all of your books, be the author of the book. So it's not taking away your authorness or your authority. You still got that. Um, but I'll go into that in a lot more detail in a minute. I just wanted to give an overview of exactly what we're doing. And I think the bottom line of this, just let me check everyone is muted. I can hear some strange sounds. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's me. It's probably my stomach or something. The bottom line is, if most people, I would say 98% of people publish their own books, they are going to get no sales most commonly or very few sales. And they've put all that work and time and effort into that book, and it is just heartbreaking that they're not getting much reward back out of it. So the bottom line is getting 100% of your own royalties when you publish your book yourself is nothing in comparison to the amount of royalties you get when you partner with us. So just if you think, oh, I'm getting 50% of my royalties, 50% of a lot is way more than 100% of nearly nothing. But not only that, the icing on the cake is if anybody then sees this book and they think, oh, what's the Book Boss Academy? And they want to create little books like this too, and they join, then you get half of their joining fees when they join the academy. So you'll end up with more like 100% of a lot rather than 100% of nothing. So that's why I'm so excited about this, if you can get your head around that. Um, I'm just going to check the chat and I'm going to open up questions. Did I press record? Yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, panicking. I'm going to open up to questions at the end because I've got a feeling I may answer a lot of questions as I go along. And just checking the chat every now and again. Yeah, thank you. All right, okay, mute Christine there. That's with the few noises that we could hear, Christine, sorry. Right, let me get my notes and then I'll show you some books. And then I'm going to whip you up into a frenzy of excitement because why not? Um, and then we'll have questions at the end. Okay, so who is this Publishing Buddy scheme for? Who is it for? And the answer to that is anyone who is looking to create income from their books. If you are here because you've got a book deep on your heart that you want to get out and it's your soul book and it's your lifelong memoirs, this is probably not the best place for you. You're probably better off partnering with a book publisher, book publishing company, that kind of thing, if you're just thinking of doing that book that is on your heart. This is more about creating books, having loads and loads of fun, creating different books and getting passive income and royalties from those books. That's what we're here to do. And I'm passionate about helping people to get out of the workplace because I've had a lot of bad experiences in workplaces, lots of toxic workplaces. This is perfect for mums who want to be at home with their kids. It's perfect for if you're like me, you didn't save for your retirement and now you're panicking. That's me. It's for you if you want extra pocket money, you want to travel the world and you want to save up and go on a Disney Alaskan tour like my friend Joan, who is going to be watching the replay. Hi, Joan. um, it's for children. Yeah, so I'm opening up anyone who's in the academy now and anyone who joins before the 1st of September. I'm going to open up the academy for you to add a +1 because I'm also passionate about kids learning entrepreneurship, kids learning online skills, digital marketing, all of those things. And I think to make it fair, if you don't have any children, I'm happy for you to just add a +1 to your account here in the academy. You know, I don't want to be unfair and say you can only add a +1 if you've got a little minion. So that is a little bit of a cherry on top, a bit of an icing on the cake if you're already a member of the academy. And also, you know, if you do want to join before the 1st of September. But like I say, you don't have to be a member to be partnering with me and publishing books together. Yes, absolutely. So your husband, your child, it's perfect for teenagers, young children, not children, but you know, I've got a 21-year-old struggling to find a job. She's finished university and there's no jobs for people who are finishing university. The best jobs open to them are like waitressing and making coffee at Starbucks or working at McDonald's. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of time and effort and dedication for them to get that first proper job, proper job. So yeah, this is absolutely great basically for anyone. And I think the only person it's not going to be the best for is those people who are just passionate about their book, the book of their life. Unfortunately, most books like that don't make many sales. But I don't want to put anybody off, but you know, they don't, but we just have to get it out and we just want to write that book. And I appreciate and love the passion of that. And I wish you well in doing that. But like I say, we are here to create lots and lots of fun books, enjoy creating the book interiors. If we get fed up of creating one book interior, we can move on to another. And that's what will hopefully keep you interested and motivated in this scheme. So, why am I doing this? It's because I've seen so many people struggle publishing their books and not making much money from it because of the issues that I've mentioned, the problems with the keywords. They don't know how to do the keyword research properly, and it doesn't matter how long of a training I do, it takes practice and time, effort, and dedication, and a real understanding of how keywords work. And it can take about a year to really properly learn how that works. So it takes away all the barriers to income generation because we do that piece for you. I'm doing it because people are making just amazing, incredible book interiors. And it's such a shame that they're putting so much work, time, and effort and creating a masterpiece, but that it is really not sellable because they don't have the skills to actually publish the book. So, how will it work? How's this going to work if you decided that you want to do this, which I hope that you have? Oh, what I will say is you can actually absolutely do this alongside whatever you're doing. If you've got a business, if you've got a job, if you've got two jobs, if you've got a job and a business, you can absolutely do this as well, and build up a little bit of a monthly passive recurring income pot. Imagine doing this for the next 5 years. Imagine just publishing one book a month for the next 5 years. Uh, you know, that's going to be just brilliant, isn't it? In 5 years' time, that is 12 times 5, whatever maths that is. You'll have that many books. I can't even do 12 times 5, guys. I'm really sorry. I need a calculator. Is it 48 or something? I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's how many books you will have. I would love you to aim to have 100 books. I think having 100 books is life changing. We have got 52 books now, and that is life changing. We're talking 5K months. And I think that is because I've had a lot of experience in business and marketing. I don't think that would happen to most people, but that absolutely will happen to you if you join this scheme because I'm putting in all of my experience and my knowledge and my understanding about marketing and persuasive copywriting and graphic design skills in your book covers. So I aim to create 100 books, but when you get to 50 books, I think it will be really life changing for you. And you might think, oh my God, 50 books, I can't even write one. I did 11 on Sunday, and I'll show you how I did that. Um, it doesn't have to be, my first book took me a year. It was a children's book as well. And I drove myself nuts with the illustrations and trying to get them to be the same and trying to use Canva to do the same illustrations, but different stories on each page. Anyway, long story short, it took me a year, that book. And it took me 2 years to make any money from it. We're not doing that here. We're not doing that. Um, what books we accept. So when I posted a post on my Facebook about this scheme, I had a lot of voice notes and Facebook messages of people who've already created books like children's book or something and wanting to partner with me to publish their books with them. What books I will accept on this scheme are books that I have 100% evidence they're going to make money. So somebody that's created some children's book, if there's nothing unique or special about it and we can't do the keyword research and there's nothing that tells me that that book is going to make good sales, then I'm not going to devote 2 days of my time and my life to doing the book covers and publishing it for that person. So there was a lot of people wanting me to do that. And I'm not averse to looking at those things. But what I'm more excited about is you creating books that I tell you to create because I can see where the financial opportunity is. So if you work with me and create the books that I tell you are going to make good money, then you're going to do a lot better than someone who thinks, oh, I'm just going to make a Mormon cookery book for children age 6, you know, whatever. So, and I'll be coming up with lots of different kinds of books, you know. It's not that, oh, you've got to create this book. I'll be coming up with lots of ideas and I'll be seeing lots of gaps in the market. So I'm going to have a spreadsheet where I put all my thoughts and all my ideas into that spreadsheet. And one gap in the market that I found last week was this kind of book here. And this is what I did on Sunday. And you don't have to create this kind of book, there's lots of other books you can create. But this is a would you rather book for kids, right? And this was one of the first book categories that I found on my keyword research tools called Bookbeam that is all in green and yellow, which means yes, there's a lot of opportunity in this area. There's 20,000 people searching for these books every month, 20,000 on Amazon. And there's only 3,000 books in the whole category. But when you look in some subcategories, like for kids, there's only 400 books for kids, and 20,000 people are searching for them. So this is why this book here makes $130,000 a month. This one book. And you know what? It would take me 2 hours to create this book. Look how easy it is inside. So this is the opportunity. I'm like, we've got all these book bosses in this academy. You know, why don't we all create a book like this? If 20,000 people are searching for it and there's not that many on the market, and some of them look really rubbish, by the way. So even the ones that it says are on the market, you know, nobody's going to buy them. So there's only a few top contenders in this category. And this is why I created 11 of these books on Sunday. So this is definitely a book that you could start with, and it's a really great book if you're a teenager, you know, you're in your 20s, it's your first book that you're starting off with. You know, let's start easy. Let's start easy peasy and let's build from there. You might decide to create a book series of Would You Rather books. So you can choose, you're going to make Would You Rather books for tiny young children aged sort of 7 to 11, older children, teenagers, so it's going to be a little bit naughty inside. Um, or gross books, books for boys, books for girls. There's books for couples, books for married couples. You could do books for seniors, adult ones. You know, this is a game that a lot of people absolutely love to play all over the world. It's a great time to be publishing these books during the summer holidays. You know, if you could bang one out in the next week before I go on holiday, it's the summer holiday time. You could do a summer holiday themed Would You Rather book. So it's a great time to do that. You might be thinking, okay, Halloween's coming up. I'm going to do a Halloween edition. You might just do one general one for kids, a general gross edition. I saw in the keyword research that a lot of people are researching gross, silly, the gross, silly ones, and there's not that many of those. So anyway, there's lots of opportunity in this particular book category. If you're in the academy, the benefit to being in the academy is you get the training. But, you know, do you need training to create this book? No, you absolutely don't need training, but you will have the training in the academy and you'll also have the template. So I give you a template of that you can fill in. Or the interior. You can change the template. You can make the interior however you want to. So this is another example of a Would You Rather book here. This is quite a new one. It's created by an illustrator and there's lots and lots of design on every page. Yeah, there's lots and lots of images and design. So you could do it really simple using my template and create this one. Or you could be more creative. If you are an illustrator, you could put lots of illustrations in it. Or you could do something in between the two, where yes, you're using my template, but you might put some extra images on, you know. in the one I've created, I've put some fun and interesting facts, like brain busting facts in it as well, just to make it a bit more valuable, you know. So the actual creating of the interior of the book, do your thing, be creative, you know, do it however you want to do it. If you don't like the template that I give you, then make it prettier, make it nicer. You know, the nicer the quality of the book and the better the quality of the book, the more likely you are to get great reviews. And the books that have got the best reviews and the great reviews are the books that will continue to generate passive income for years and years to come. So that's one type of book, but there are many, many types of book that I will partner with you to create, providing we can see from our tools and from looking at Amazon that the book idea that you've got is going to be profitable. Another one that I'm doing with my daughter is called a Wreck-It journal. There's not many of these. They're doing really, really well. Wreck-It journal is a journal that you go through and you basically wreck the whole thing. So one says like stick holes in this page and look, sew this page with some colourful thread or string. And then this one is tear out this page, crumple it into a ball, hit it and kick it. And you know, it's just random funny stuff, and a lot of kids really like this kind of thing. This book again is just doing amazingly well. And there's not many of these books on the market, so that's another option. But there's loads and loads of options. Another one that I saw the other day is word ladder books for children, where they get a word at the top of the ladder and then it becomes another word, and then you take one letter away and it becomes another word and then another word. Um, and they don't have to be children's books. I will be finding gaps in the market and niches that you can create books in that are for adults. For example, this is a self-love workbook for women. There's lots of opportunities in these guided journal books. Lots of gaps in the market as well. These are doing really, really well. Most of the books I'll be partnering with people are going to be non-fiction books, lower content books even. I mean, this isn't particularly a low content book because there's quite a lot of guided questions all the way through it. It's quite a lot of content in this book, but it's obviously a lot quicker to create a book like that and a book like this. It's a lot quicker to create a book like this than it would be to, say, create a fiction book or a written non-fiction book like, I don't know, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. All of those books, they're full of writing, aren't they? You can absolutely create a book like that and work with me for that. But again, we need to see evidence of profitability. If you want to create your memoir book and you've got a following, so you've got a business, you've got followers that are going to buy it, that's the only time I would consider working with somebody to create a book that I can't see that is going to make some money. So if it's not showing up as profitable on my tools that I've got, but you've got this great big following and they all want to buy it, then, you know, that's a situation where I would consider partnering up for that kind of book. So let me go back to my notes here. Why am I doing this? Yeah, we've covered that. Who it's for specifically? Yeah. How it's going to work. So just to be more specific with that, you create the book interior. You tell me what the title is going to be, and I just tell you, yes, carry on with that. Because I don't want you going creating a book, coming to me and going, got my book for you, Abby. And then I'm like, nah, it's not going to make any money. You're going to be like pretty peed off, really. So we're going to have to agree what this book is, but I won't finalize the title and the subtitle until it's submitted to me complete. That's when I'm going to spend a whole day researching keywords and making sure it's got the most optimized title that we can possibly have and subtitle. So it may then come back to you for some amendment. Also, I'll be checking for quality or any errors or anything like that. So most books will probably come back to you for a little bit of amendment, and then it will come back to me, and then we will do the book cover, and we will also add in the pages at the beginning, the copyright disclaimers, and pages at the back if they can find any more of your books. So once you've got 2 or 3 or 4 of your books, we will put images and QR codes to your other books at the back of the book, or maybe at the front of the book. So we're optimizing both of our profitability from the way that we actually publish these books, so people can find your other books. They can also find the Academy. You can also get your royalties if they come and join and they want to create books too. So our job really is to optimize the passive income royalties of the book that you have created. That's basically our side of the bargain. How it works in terms of payments is if anyone joins the Academy, you'll get paid straight away. That's automated through school. It just goes into your bank. With royalties with Amazon, they take 3 months to give you the royalties. So you're going to have a little bit of a not getting paid for 3 months, and so am I. But once the 3 months have gone, what you find is your first month is likely to be around $50 to $100, and you're going to be like, why am I doing all this work for $50? But that's where it gets exciting. It's then going to go up and up and up and up and up after that. You also have the opportunity to make your book publishing business into an actual business. So, for example, there's a journal on Amazon, I think it's called the Shadow Work Journal. It earns hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. And the person who created that journal has got a TikTok channel, and all she does is she shows one page of her book, and I think she reads it every day. She publishes a page of her book and showing that page, and then a link to obviously buy it. So she is fueling the the sales of her shadow work journal through her TikTok channel. So you'll absolutely be able to do that if you want to as well. And it's one of the easiest things to promote books on a TikTok channel or an Instagram channel, you know, especially books like this. Would you rather, you could do a little story, would you rather this or that? And just read one of them out per day. Now, you might say, why is people going to buy the book if they've got them all on social media? Well, the obvious answer to that is they want them all in the book, and they want to be able to travel and take the book with them and enjoy it with the family and the friends. It's a completely different medium to seeing just one question on social media. But that one question on social media will lead them to answer the question, which will open up the algorithm to more people seeing it, and to more and more people seeing the link to buy your book. So I'm getting a bit complex here and a bit deep. I'm not going to go too deep, but I just want you to understand that the scope of this is you could do a book with me a month and just sit on your laurels and just watch your income grow over the next 5 years, or you could go all in and create a book a week or even more and create a TikTok channel with it and create a theme and create a book series and have all your books linking to each other, so that any audience and followers that you make, if they like your Would You Rather book for, say, teen girls, then you could have a whole set of them in different themes for teen girls. You know, so you've then got repeat buyers. So you could go as big as you want with this, or you could just have it as a little hobby that you do one per month. You know, there's no pressure from me. And on that note, pressure from me, there is none. You know, we can give you a soft deadline and say we'd love you to submit the interior by this date. And Joan was telling me she wants to do this and she wants me to give her a deadline because otherwise she'll never do it. If you want deadlines, I can give you a deadline. But if deadlines make you panic and make you feel under pressure, You don't need a deadline. You can just do it in your own time. If you're the type of person who gets told you can do it in your own time and then never does it, Joan, anyone else, we can pencil some deadlines, Emily. We can pencil some deadlines in the calendar. I won't be asking for any pointless amendments. I'm not that type of person who's going to say, "Oh, add a full stop here," and little tiny things like that. It would be good if you could check those types of things yourself. The amendments I would ask for, it would be a major quality control issue, or it might be, the bleed area of your pages, or, maybe your sentences don't make sense. Something like that. I would be mainly focused on some bigger issues rather than the minutiae. If any book starts to get bad reviews and people don't like it, then we need to have a conversation, probably unpublish that book, fix it, and republish it. Yeah, because we don't, from my point of view, I don't want the Book Boss brand start getting a bad name. All Book Boss books are all 1 star. No, we want them to be 5 stars. So in that situation, I might have to pull a book and fix it, republish, or obviously depends on the issue. Um, just checking my notes here to see if I've missed anything. What time are we on? Okay, we've got 15 minutes. So last things on that, to be really successful at this, and obviously we both got the same interests, haven't we? Because I want you to optimize your sales, and I want to optimize the time and work that we're putting into this. I will obviously have to invest in team members to help with the admin, especially the money, the distribution of royalties. I don't want to do that. So, I will have to be spending a lot of my half on keeping Book Boss going and running it and paying team members and things like that. So, you know, bottom line is all the 50% of your royalties isn't going into my pocket and down, being spent down at the bar down the road. I will be using that to fuel the whole business. Um, yeah, we'll talk about KDP accounts in a minute. But how to optimize how you go about this, the first one is to have a why. Why do you want to earn money? What is passive income, to you? Why is this important to you? How is it going to change your life? What is the reason why you're doing this? I've got so many reasons. The main one for me is that my health has been so bad last year and the beginning of this year that I couldn't function in any sort of employment or even my own business coaching business. The only thing I could have possibly done when I was really poorly is create book covers and publish books. I probably couldn't have even done the interior. So that's the main driver for me is how ill I got, and I could get ill again, I'm working on not getting ill again, but it could happen. And then my second one is I've not saved any money for my retirement. And, I'm very much a live in the moment kind of person, but I don't plan for the future. So, and I also want to, give my family a great lifestyle and my children opportunities and job opportunities, work opportunities. So many whys for me. I've got all the whys. But you need to have at least one deep, meaningful why just to keep you motivated in this process. The first book that you create is going to be hard. It's going to feel hard. But after that first book, any of you here, I know some of you have already got books published. After that first one, it's easier, and then it's easier, and then it's easier, and then it becomes second nature, and then it becomes boring. That's where the why comes in. That's where that why needs to be there. And that's where I'm here to say, do you know what? Let's park the word search books. If you're a bit bored of those, what about this? What about that? What about the other? Yeah. So that's where I can really help you to keep your enthusiasm going. I'm the same, if I'm publishing one sort of book, I'm like, I'm bored of those. I'm really good at them. We're creating lots of income from them, but I'm bored. I'm going to do something else. So make sure you've got the right mindset and you've got your why. Maybe do some journaling on that and be really grounded in that why. And then the second thing is to be really successful at this, have a book series, plan bigger, think bigger, dream bigger. I created these 11 Would You Rather books on Sunday because I thought, okay, what are kids going to like? They're age, 6 to 9. What things do they like? And I just planned a whole book series, one for each theme. I couldn't really see anyone was publishing Would You Rather books with a little funny theme on each one. And I thought, okay, that's maybe a bit of a gap in the market. But I wanted to create the big book as well that had all of the themes in it. So if somebody likes one of your books, they're going to want another one. And it comes up on Amazon that you're the author and that you've got all of these books. So if they like one of your books, that is a great way of getting repeat buyers and repeat customers. And what we've found is Amazon actually emails out the rest of your books to somebody who's bought one. It will send them an email and say, you like the book by this author, you can also buy these other ones. So to maximize your passive income generating potential and to expedite it and accelerate your growth, think bigger. Think, how could this be a book as a part of a bigger series? Again, with the TikTok thing, if you're open to that, thinking bigger and having social media handles, you could have a freebie, a lead magnet. I'm not averse to putting your link to your lead magnet on your book, so you could start to grow a following if you want to be a children's book author and think, okay, I'm going to stick to kids' books and then I want lots of parents on my email list. You can then publish your own book. You don't have to do all your books with us. You could publish your own book and send it out to your whole email list. You could publish some books with us at Book Boss. You could publish some on your own, or you could use Book Boss to get you up and off the ground, and then you could be on your merry way on your own. I'm not going to have any sort of rules of you've got to be with us for at least 5 years. Nothing like that. Yeah, I think that's just about everything. So that's how to maximize your income and your profits, and that's how to think and dream bigger. It's better to think and dream bigger from the beginning. It's quicker to see the growth from those big dreams when you know what you're dreaming at the beginning, rather than, oh, right, I've got 10 books now, what should I do? And you didn't create a book series. Wouldn't it be better if you had created a series where they were all interconnected and interlinked? So I'm going to open up the floor to any questions. One question was asked. Who was it now? Can't remember. She asked, what will happen if I want to sell my KDP account? Because I've talked about in the academy about selling a KDP account. And the answer to that question is I have no intention of selling BookBoss anytime soon. My other KDP accounts, one's in my daughter's name, one's in my husband's name. You can only have one KDP account per person, but we do have three as a family. Those KDP accounts I'm growing with a view to selling them. With BookBoss, maybe I'll sell it when I retire. If I do that, the person buying the business will take on the business obligations and will have to continue the business as it is, as it is now, and they will have to continue to pay out everybody under the BookBoss brand. That will be part of the business and the terms and conditions of any sales transactions that ever happen when I reach whatever age, 60, 70, 80 years old. But I thought that was a really good question, actually.
Hi, Abby, it's Hannah. A couple of
Hi.
questions
Yeah.
from me.
Hmm.
The first one is there's two questions actually that I have. The first one is, how do we choose a title? Will you be sharing a short list of likely titles? That's my first question.
Yeah, so it's a good question. And the answer is I will share a list of profitable genres and niches like a Would You Rather book.
Okay, cool.
And you will think, oh, you will do some research and think, I want to do one for adults. Then we'll have a little conversation. I'm thinking of doing one for adults, Abby. And I'll go yes or no. We'll probably come up with a provisional title
Hmm.
because I want the book to be something you're going to enjoy making rather
Yeah.
than me saying, right, it's going to be, would you rather book for a 1-year-old? And
Mm.
you're like, oh, I don't really want to do a book for a 1-year-old. So there's going to be a little bit of collaboration there right at the beginning. But I'll be putting out ideas on this spreadsheet of these are the profitable niches and areas. But if
Yeah.
you find a profitable niche and area that I've not found,
Hmm.
have a conversation, message me, add it to the sheet. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you. And the second part of that question is, how will you ensure that two people aren't doing the same one, or does it not matter?
It doesn't matter. There's lots and lots of books that are the same. And actually, if you look on Amazon, there's 4 books that look exactly like this. I won't be doing book covers that look exactly like each other, by the way. But there's 4 books with exactly like a funny face and the same colours and yellow.
Oh
And
my
all
goodness.
making sales. Now, this one is making $130,000 a month. And the other ones are making hundreds of dollars a month. So yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, if we had 3,000 people with the same book, which I'm not going to let happen,
Mm.
or even 200 of us with exactly the same book title, then that is going to affect our royalties and our income. But I will do everything that I can to make sure everybody has got a unique spin on their book. There's a unique reason why somebody would choose their book
Mm.
amongst the others.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much.
Good questions. I will look in the chat, but does anybody have any questions they want to ask me, like verbally?
Yeah, Abby, could we use a pen name? We wouldn't have to use our own name, would
Yeah,
we?
great question, Julie. Yeah, I meant to actually cover that. So yeah, if you want to use a pen name, come up with a pen name and we will publish your book in your pen name and then Book Boss as well. So it'll be basically 2 authors as we publish. And then you can actually create an author page for your pen name as well. There's lots of author pages for pen names. So you can put lots of books in book series and join them up together. You could have a pen name for your children, all your children's books. You could have a second pen name for any books that you create, say, for teens or adults or seniors. So you could actually end up working with me and have 50 pen names, over the next 5 years if you want.
Yeah, because I feel more comfortable with that because I write some stuff for education anyway in my own name.
Yeah.
And I'm doing my poetry in a different pen name, but I would quite be interested in doing this with another pen name if that was okay. So yeah, that's good news. Thank you.
Yeah, great question. Any other questions? I can see some coming up in the chat, so I will cover the chat one.
Robert, can I just because I want to get my branding name out there, so I've got
Mhm.
no problem with my name being on there, but I would love to do like a book series, like journals and all
Mhm.
sorts and that.
Yeah,
So yeah, so I could use like the She Takes Action network sort of thing.
yeah,
Or,
that's a
yeah,
great question as well. I think we can even have 3 authors, and you could have your brand colors on your book cover. If you say, "Look, I need it to be bright pink and in your face," I will.
brilliant. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm really on to never can use the
you
brand
can have
colours.
your
Yeah,
brand name on your book as well. The only thing I need on it is Book Boss and ideally affiliate links to the Book Boss Academy if you've got one, or if anyone's not in the academy, it will be a link to join the academy.
thank you.
Good questions. I'm loving it. Any more? Somebody's just said, I think it was Julie, just said, how do we get started? And I've not thought about that. Ironically, I didn't even think, okay, how do we get started now? So I need to do this spreadsheet. For those of you in the academy, there's some training on this, on these books in particular, with the Would You Rather books. That training is going to be going into the academy. I said Friday, but it's actually ready. So it's ready to go tomorrow. So you could start creating your book interiors tomorrow. You might want to send me a message and say, I'm doing a Would You Rather book and I'm thinking of doing it for seniors. What do you think? And just get me to say yes. And then just get on with it and go for it. What I did want to say is this isn't hand holding or me personally coaching people how to create a book interior. So what you need to do ideally is buy one of the books. Just get one. If you're creating a book series of Would You Rather books, I recommend that you just at least have one that you can hold, you can look at, you can see how they've done the interior. Ideally, we want your interior to be different. We don't want it to be exactly the same. But this is what I do with all the books that I create. I always buy one first. So you think, I don't want to spend money, I want to make money. But it's just good to see how someone else has done it who's really successful, and how you could not just emulate it. We're not doing the same, but how you could improve upon it even. You could read their reviews and see if anybody's missing something, and oh, I wish you had this in this journal, and you can make it even better. So there's no sort of timeline or deadline. You can send me a message, say, I'm thinking of creating this book. You could create a word search book. We've got a word search module inside the Academy. If you're not in the Academy, have a conversation with me in Messenger and say, I'm thinking of creating this book. Is it going to be profitable? Just let me do a quick lookup of it. And if it is, I'll say, yes, go for it. And if not, I'll say, no, what about this? I'll give you some alternatives. If you don't agree with me and you're like, I want to do this book, go and do it. Go and publish it yourself. You could even get a designer on Fiverr.com to do the cover for you. Don't let me stop you. You might have the next Harry Potter series. I might be one of those publishers that turned away J.K. Rowling, and you can go, ha ha, I'm earning 100K a month, Abby, and you turned me down. You could be that person. And I celebrate you if you are.
Abby, I have a question.
Okay.
Um, Now, if this is going to get uploaded through your account or our account, so how do we track sales?
So you don't track sales. Maybe you could use Kip Scout or something like that, but we will track sales and put it on a spreadsheet every month. So everybody's name will be on the spreadsheet, and then you'll be able to see the royalties that we've made each month, and then you'll get a half of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? But I will go to the chat. Okay, I'm opening up the chat, so let's have a look. Joe says you've got 3 grandkids. This would be fab. Yeah. This you could think of, creating a gift. You can even dedicate it to a family member. It's a great gift for someone. Susie said, what's a would you rather? So hopefully you know what a would you rather book is. Well, it's a good question, Susie. So would you rather book is it's full of funny questions like this that kids absolutely love. Things like, would you rather have feet for your hands or hands for your feet? And can you imagine traveling in the car for hours to your destination and your kids just reading out these questions and everybody's got to answer? You end up having such a hilarious time and barely laughing at some of the ridiculous questions. Would you rather be invisible for a day, or would you rather have the ability to hear people's thoughts? You could do adult ones, couples ones, like I say, senior ones. Great for carers to be having such a fun game with seniors in like a care home or something. There's actually nobody done that, but I do think there's a market for that. So yeah, hopefully everybody knows what a would you rather book is. But there's also loads of workbooks for kids, writing books, these word ladder books. I will find some untapped niches for adults as well. So it's my mission to find these untapped areas, or these areas of huge potential for us. Yeah, Trace is interested in creating a book like this. Yeah. And the would you rather book for kids, if 2 people did a would you rather book for kids, we would just make sure the covers were very different, or 3 of you. There's so many people searching would you rather book for kids that I don't want to impose a rule that only one of us can have it, because there's lots of royalties to be had for lots of people with these books. And actually, the more books that are in distribution, the more books that are out there in the world, and the more other people see those books, and the more people want to buy them. So it's an ever growing, ever perpetuating thing to actually have more in one category. It doesn't mean that the royalties then get necessarily split between 2 books, now 20 books, now 200 books. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah, shadow work journal. Agnes has asked, would you recommend to create a new separate KDP account for this project if the other books are in a totally different niche, or you publish on BookBoss? So we publish on our BookBoss business KDP account. Yeah. Claudia's
Abby,
yeah.
I got a question.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not sure if you saw it in the chat, but a lot of this is very trendy.
Mhm.
You know, and so of course we need to have the time to make sure we're on top of the trends.
Mhm.
How are you going to kind of steer that so that, you know, we're not producing something like at the end of a trend and then nobody wants to buy it?
Yeah, so these Would You Rather books, has people been publishing them since the beginning of time, since books were started to be invented. So I'm not that interested in a passing trend as such. But yeah, these are popular and continue to be popular and probably will always be popular. You know, kids asking these would you rather questions. I do naturally see trends, or if I can see something that's getting more and more popular, I'll put it on the spreadsheet as a big opportunity. You know, for example, AI and Chat GPT books. There's a lot of opportunity to create books right now in those areas. There are starting to be a lot of books on those 2 subjects, but when I've done my keyword research, there's still some areas of opportunity there. So yeah, I'll just make sure that the spreadsheet has got all the areas of opportunity on there that I can find. And if you find any areas and you say, Abby, this is an area of opportunity, I'll have a look and I'll put it on.
Abby, I had a question kind of comment.
Uh-huh.
The other day when we were working and we were discussing the questions, one of the questions that you were discussing was one that also came up for Pam, I think.
Mhm.
And then when Pam and I were working later and I was making something, she had the same question come up. So I put into Chat GPT, you know, why are other people getting the same questions? And it said, you have to, they're going to give you back generic questions. You have to ask for original, so they'll switch up the wording a little. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So if you've got the same questions in your book as another book, I don't think it's a problem because they've not trademarked or copyrighted their question. But if you had a whole book full of the same questions, there would be an issue with that. So you can ask ChatGPT to come up with original questions. But I've not come across any issues of having a whole list that's exactly the same as another book. I don't see how that would happen. I'm not sure. We'll have to, this is kind of a beta test. And if we're all creating books and they're already all out there, then that's going to be a big problem. But it's not something I can do anything about, you know, so we just have to do our best and suck it and see.
Well, I think the way I'm going to address it is to ask for original questions rather than generic. I'm going to say that exact thing.
Yeah, I think
So-
that's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Abby, can I just ask a question about the copyright and the trademarking thing? Because I am aware that like Meta, for example, they do run intelligent bots on content and they do pick up things. What can happen if something is printed that is breaching a trademark or a copyright?
So,
Do you know?
yeah, I would get an email to say there's a copyright breach, and then we would have to correct it.
So you're given a chance to correct it then. It's not like there's any consequence.
No.
Okay,
And any
thanks.
consequence, if there was one, it would be on BookBoss because it's on my KDP account. So I take on all the burden of, you could have copied someone else's book and give it to me and I could publish it. So that could be a problem, but there's nothing I can do about that until it happens. Obviously, I can do plagiarism checks. I do all of those things anyway. So I will require the original script or the template from your Canva so that I can add those beginning pages and those end pages, and I will be able to do a plagiarism check using my plagiarism software. So I will do everything I possibly can to prevent anything like that, but you can never cover every single base because I would be just working on it for like the next 2 months trying to make sure everything's original and make sure every image that I've used in Canva has got the right terms and conditions, and we're absolutely not going to do that because it will just take too much time. So we just have to do our best, and then if anything comes back or any emails come back, then we just rectify.
Yeah, just deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's an important point that we will do the plagiarism check and all those checks on it because you sometimes just don't know where AI is getting it from. And I think that is a really good idea of Dorothy's to say, could you come up with original would you rather questions that are not out there? Who owns the book after publication? So we'll have terms and conditions that you will need to sign, and it will be a joint ownership because basically I own half the work and you own half the work.
Abby, that leads me to another question.
Mhm.
If we wanted to buy, let's say, 20 of the books created so that we can sell them in person, can we do that at like our rate that you know, do you know what I mean? How would we do that?
I'm not sure, Dorothy. I'd have to look into it, but
Okay.
author copies, I think, can only be purchased by me. So I'll have to think about that because I don't really want to be ordering everybody's author copies and then trying to post them all out. It's just not something that I would do. I could try and promise to do it, but I just know myself. I can hardly even get a birthday present out to a family member. So yeah, you might have to just buy your own book, but not have a big pile of your own books, you know, and do book signings and things like that. But that's something we can think about more as we move along. Yeah. There might be a way if there's 2 authors and a co-author that you can buy author copies. I've never done it like that before, but there might be a way of doing that. There should be, shouldn't there? Yeah. Oh, so Julie says you can send author copies to different addresses. So if we can do that, then we would do that. Yeah.
Really? You're going to do the admin for that?
Well, I would buy it. So the person would just send me the money. I would buy the author copies using their money, and just put their address in. You know, we could do that as part of the admin. If everybody's only doing that, not even everybody would want author copies. So if we've got 100 people and say 5 people want author copies, then we could do that.
Okay.
So just looking for any more questions. Is there an optimal amount of would you rather questions? So you can have a look at all the books. Some of them have got a few hundred, some of them have got more hundred, and you can just do as many as you want to. There is a Amazon KDP calculator, and it calculates the, you can Google that, Amazon KDP calculator. So if you were to do like 1,000 questions, your printing costs would go higher because you've got more pages. So you can try and find your own optimal point of where you've got the most questions, where your book is highly desirable, but you've got a lower printing cost. But you just really need to play around with the figures and the numbers in the Amazon KDP calculator. Royalties calculator, that is it. Amazon KDP royalties calculator. Yeah, Samantha's got a +1. Yeah, just remember we're doing the +1 for the BookBoss Academy. All right, I think that's all the questions. Can't wait to get started, says Karen. And Agnes as well. Brilliant. So what to do next is, message me with your book idea. We'll come up with a provisional title. I've got the Would You Rather module going into the academy. Tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. So you can go through that module if you want to learn how to create this book. I'll walk you through exactly how to create the interior, how to use ChatGPT to create the interior. You might want to do a word search book. You might decide that you want to do a word ladder book, but just decide what your first book is going to be. And if you want me to set a deadline with you, we can do that as well. But just make sure that I agree that it is a profitable book first. Rather than you just sending me a manuscript in 2 weeks' time and me going, what's this? Tracy says, looking forward to giving it a go. Samantha says, this is brilliant. Looking forward to getting started. Yay, I think it's a better way. I thought, running the Book Boss Academy, everybody would be like publishing books every week. But I've really quickly realized that the publishing process is really halting a lot of people. And it's maybe not as easy as I thought. Well, it's not, is it? And especially creating those book covers and doing the cover designs. It can take a few days to do a really decent cover design. And obviously we'll do that for you. Susie says, is there any upfront costs or is it just on the royalties? The upfront costs, I recommend that you're all in the academy because then you've got the training. I'll be doing training on all the profitable books that I can see. So I do recommend that you join that. So I suppose that's the only cost. But, I'm not averse to working with people who are not in it. Who kind of are like, I'm just going to create these books and I know how to create them. That's fine too. Other than that, there's no upfront costs. If you want to do any keyword research of your own, you can use Kip Scout. That's free and that's absolutely adequate for your needs. I've got all the paid tools. So yeah, I can do a little bit more in-depth research of those keywords and for the description and everything. Christine says, am I doing the interior book design? No, not at all. Not for anybody. Sometimes I will have a little mini template like this one as a little guide. But really, we want everybody's interior to look a little bit different to each other. We don't want to be having the same interior of all the books, ideally.
Abby, I had a question in the chat. I think you might have missed it. It was about the +1 royalties. So how would that work?
I don't really understand the question.
So say I had a +1, so I had my son as a +1, and I wanted to pay him some royalties out of my royalties. Is that something I'd have to do separately, or would it be sort of set up from the get-go?
So I could either publish his books under your name, under your account, or he would have his own books in his own account. And the only difference between that is we would be sending money to you, or we would send money directly to his bank account if he's old enough to have a bank account.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Because he might want a pen name as well, and then you might have pen names. So the only difference for us here is where are your half royalties going to?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Susie wants to do a book on crystals. If you can show me that it's going to be profitable, I can help you with that. All right, that looks like that's all the questions. I'm just scrolling up, seeing if I missed any others. Don't think I've missed any others. Yeah, I've got them all. All right, lovely to meet you all. Lovely to see you all live here on Zoom. If you've been watching the replay, lovely to have you watching the replay as well. So make sure you message me with your book idea. We'll come up with a provisional title I won't be doing like a day of title research for you until we've got the manuscript and we know that it's a go, because I'll be wasting my time then on lots of different people doing provisional titles. So, you know, we'll set up a provisional title with a view to polishing it off later on. So yeah, let's go. Bye everyone. Have an amazing day. Bye.